This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Now at 7, live pictures showing the healthcare workers march happening now in support of the Black Lives Matter movement. It's called White Coats for Black Lives Rally. The doctors and other healthcare workers are marching to bring attention to the demand to end police brutality against African Americans. The march is happening now near Eskenazi Hospital and Indy's. Two demonstrations happening now. We'll check in with Cameron Riddle live at the other one in just a moment. But first, here at 7 o'clock, a Storm Team 6 alert. Severe storms possible tonight. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory here with the timeline.
And we've had several severe storms within the last hour, producing 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and some quarter-size hail. The recent one just issued here as the news starts at the top of the hour for northeast Marion County, southeast Hamilton, and a big chunk then of Hancock County. That until 7:30, 60-mile-per-hour winds and hail with the storm. You can see it diving to the south and east. It will produce torrential rainfall as well. Let's show you the line. It's from west to east. Here's very heavy rainfall just southeast of Lebanon, heads up to Zionsville. This will move back into Hamilton County near Sheridan and then through the southern portion of the county where you've already had a round of heavy rain in Carmel, Fishers, Noblesville, and Cicero. There's your severe potential with this storm as it's on the northeast side of Indy. Will cut southeast through McCordsville, Fortville to Greenfield. Damaging wind, large hail, the main threats this evening. I'll have more details about the hours ahead coming up.
And right now, for the 6th day in a row, protesters are gathering in downtown Indianapolis. RTV6's Cameron Riddle has been covering these demonstrations and is live for us tonight. Cameron.
Hey, Amanda, good evening. So we are now on West Street as we make a path through downtown Indianapolis. We're at the back of the pack right now. The police is right behind us on their bikes. This is the biggest police presence, or I should say the closest police presence we have seen to any protest that has been going on in the 6 days that we've been covering this. Right now, things have been completely peaceful as we walk through the streets of downtown. I do want to point out we're behind the pack because we stopped at the beginning of this protest. Our bikers who kind of block the street as the crowd can get through, and those bike riders were actually hit by a driver in a car. As with any protest, not everyone is appreciative of the protesters, and that guy just almost plowed one of the bicyclists over. But he is okay, upset, but definitely okay as he got away. But nevertheless, this protest continues. Exactly where we're going is unclear, but we're following a path that we did last night, and eventually we went back to the circle where things started. But this is the scene. This is what people are doing, continuing to highlight the injustice and ask for a change and to get justice for George Floyd. And here in Indianapolis, Dre John Reed. Reporting live, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
And also happening right now, hundreds of doctors and other healthcare workers are marching together in the name of racial justice. RTV6's Cornelius Socker is live at the White Coats for Black Lives rally near Eskenazi and Riley Children's Hospital. Cornelius.
Amanda, such an incredible showing of medical professionals, doctors, nurses, everyone. I just want you to take a look. Look at all these people. Right now, they are marching around the health campus that encompasses Eskenazi and Riley. They started in that green, grassy area, and I was there. I saw first 10, 20, 30, and then just hundreds of these medical professionals coming together to rally for racial justice. And, you know, not only are they doing that, but they're rallying to make an end to systemic racism, you know, not just with policing and different things like that, but also in the health field. They know that there are health disparities for African Americans, and they are committing to do their part to change those health disparities. So tonight at 11, I'm going to have a full recap of this just incredible showing of medical professionals, nurses, physical therapists, you name it, they're out here for this White Coats for Black Lives Matter rally. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you all in the studio.
Quite a great showing there. Thank you, Cornelius. We'll look forward to your report at 11. As protests continue, we are working to get answers from state leaders on how they plan to respond and the potential health impacts that come with large gatherings during a pandemic. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum spoke with the governor this afternoon and has more on his response.
Change Change will happen. That's the message from the governor today. He wants people at these protests to know he sees them, he hears them, and he's encouraged by those spreading their message in a peaceful way. Hundreds of demonstrators made their way up Meridian Street toward the governor's residence this week, and it ended like this. Governor Holcomb praising all of those involved. It was a much different scene than just days before, when protests turned violent and destructive. Similar scenes were unfolding across the country. According to ABC News, President Trump called on governors across the nation to take a more aggressive approach to protests, saying they need to, quote, dominate the streets, telling governors to call on the National Guard for help. I asked Governor Holcomb for his response to that.
My approach will continue to be one that seeks to bridge divides and to calm the streets and to support peaceful demonstrations and expressions. This is their First Amendment right. I know there's going to be progress made because not only do folks have our attention, we agree with them.
State leaders also addressed COVID-19 concerns with these protests, saying they are encouraged to see many people wearing masks and say they don't anticipate a major spike in hospitalizations, as many at these demonstrations are young and not in the at-risk category for complications. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
And city leaders used prayer today, trying to unite and preach togetherness before more protests tonight and the days to come. RTV6's Stephanie Wade was there. She spoke with the City County Council president, asking him what they plan on doing in response to the citywide protests.
City leaders used prayer to unite, to stand in solitude, and to preach togetherness before protests tonight and the days to come.
Hope is built on nothing less.
Through song and sermon, community members, clergymen, and city county councilors all took the podium one by one and prayed for our city. Council President Vop Osili reflecting on the past week, having participated in some of the protests himself. He says he will require race and inequity to be in every conversation and every decision-making process when it comes to city actions and investments.
As a black man, as a city county council president, what are you taking to the council after all of this?
The continued discussion on what are we doing to address this explosion that had been simmering all throughout this country. There has always got to be in every budget meeting, how is this impacting inequities in our city? And so as we begin to discuss it more and put it on the table, then I think more people begin to understand that we are all responsible for the levels of inequities that we've got. And how do we address those and rebalance those?
Reporting downtown, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
So there's a lot of confusion around it, and there are 4 million people that really need the money that's on those cards.
Hoosiers are throwing out their stimulus payments. Up next here at 7, we'll tell you why it's happening and how to avoid making the same mistake.
Reach out to us for more information. This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Today, the number of new COVID-19 cases has increased in Indiana, but the number of new deaths is down. The Indiana State Department of Health reports 511 new cases of coronavirus. Yesterday, there were 430 new cases. Since the start of the pandemic, 35,712 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with the virus. Today, the Department of Health says there were 10 new COVID-19 deaths. That's 36 fewer deaths than were reported yesterday. 2,032 people in Indiana have died from coronavirus altogether, and more than 277,000 people in the state have been tested for this virus. Less than 13% of them tested positive for it. A warning tonight from our Call 6 Investigates team about plain-looking envelopes coming from the federal government with your stimulus money inside. Many people in Indiana are making the mistake of throwing them out, thinking they're junk mail. The Rebound Indiana is our initiative to make sure the systems in place to get you back on your feet are working the way they should. Call 6 Investigates' Kara Kenny explains what you need to be looking for.
Many people are still going to their mailboxes in the hopes of getting their stimulus money, but debit cards are coming in plain white envelopes, which means you may miss it altogether or tear it up. A viewer contacted Call 6 Investigate saying she threw hers out because it looked like junk mail. We did some checking and found more than 82,000 people in Indiana are supposed to get their stimulus money on debit cards. This is typically because the government doesn't have your bank account information. The envelopes are plain white with a return address in Omaha, Nebraska. AARP's Fraud Prevention Network says part of the problem is many Hoosiers didn't know the debit cards were coming.
It's really unfortunate because these are 4 million people that are still waiting on their economic impact payments, and they need it to, pay their monthly expenses. So it's unfortunate that now they have to wait another 7 to 10 days to get that card because it just wasn't clear that that's how the money was coming to them.
If you did toss yours, call this number to get a replacement, 1-800-240-8100. It's free the first time and $7.50 for each additional card. Even if you're not a member, you can call AARP's Fraud Watch Network hotline. That number is 1-877-908-3360. Reporting in Indianapolis, Kara Kenny, RTV6.
The primary election is over. Now it's on to November. Coming up next, why a race for Congress in Indiana is getting so much attention across the country.
And a severe thunderstorm just west of Greenfield in Hancock County, south of Fortville, just west of State Road 9, 60-mile-per-hour winds and some hail. Other thunderstorms and what's ahead through midnight coming up.
And this is the home of the brave.
Primary election day has come and gone, and we now know who will be running for Indiana's 5th district seat in Congress. Ray Steele tells us why it will be one of the most closely watched House races in the entire country.
Democrats already had an eye on the 5th district seat even before Republican Susan Brooks announced she would not run for re-election. The district has been reliably Republican, but about 70% of the district's voters live in the Indianapolis suburbs, and they have slowly started to lean more Democratic. The state's Democratic Party leadership also appeared to get the candidate they wanted coming out of the primary. Christina Hale is a former state lawmaker. She also ran 4 years ago as the running mate to the Democratic candidate for governor, John Gregg. Hale will face Republican Victoria Spartz. This will be Spartz's first general election campaign. She won her state Senate seat in a Republican caucus 3 years ago. With at least some chance this seat will flip, outside groups could spend millions on this race. The conservative group, the Club for Growth, has already spent nearly $500,000 for Senator Spartz in the primary alone. And with this race getting a high national profile, don't be surprised if that means more campaign visits to Indiana from the president, as well as big-name Democrats this fall. With Democracy 2020, Ray Steele, RTV6.
If you've caught a thunderstorm, you already know this. The rain is torrential. Rick Harker, our 6 p.m. producer, sent this video in from Hamilton County and Fishers. Rain just coming down in buckets. You'll see another round here in just a few minutes, but that storm that rolled through Fishers was severe and now is in Hancock County. I have more on that until the bottom of the hour. The strongest portion of that just west of Greenfield. Okay, patchy areas. You've got one in Park, then you've got another moving into Hamilton County, Hancock County, and then in eastern Indiana. Let's inspect it all. These thunderstorms pulse up. They produce some hail, heavy rainfall, and in some cases 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Rockville north along 41, that's where the heaviest rainfall is there. What I can say about this Hamilton County downpour, it does stretch from Zionsville to Westfield, Carmel, 465 and 31. It's moving over areas that have already seen a heavy round of rain. That'll move back toward Fishers and across Geist. This storm's been severe just west of Greenfield, west of State Road 9. Produced some 60-mile-per-hour winds. New Pal, you'll catch the back end of that with heavy rainfall. This stretches east, just north of Knightstown for now, but you too will have the heavy rain. Newcastle and then on into Wayne County in eastern Indiana. An active line of storms, wind and hail, the main threats, along with that heavy rainfall. Let's pick up the timeline. 9 o'clock tonight. Still ongoing thunderstorms near the metro area, but another wave of rain. 11 o'clock coming into western Indiana, spreading out by 1 o'clock in the morning. The overall severe threat is less with that because of the time of day. We will have lost the afternoon heating, but we could still have isolated strong to severe storm. Chance for rain tomorrow and Friday, about 40%. Then a 3-day dry stretch, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Don't forget our free Storm Shield app. It's a weather radio for your phone. Will wake you up in the middle of the night, for example, if storms threaten your location. There are your chance for storms tomorrow. Temperatures in the 80s, same humidity. That means if we get a downpour or get a storm, it will produce a downpour. Pretty consistent chances for rain through the day. We'll end the work week. Temperatures slightly warmer. Same chance for some thunderstorms, but we emerge into a less humid weekend. Temperatures low to mid 80s. I show you this. This is Tropical Storm Cristobal. Makes landfall early next week along the Gulf Coast. Models have that coming northeast, so through the land of Lincoln, perhaps Indiana. Right now, the latest models keep it just west of the Hoosier State, but may impact us with rain in the middle of next week. I'll be watching these storms all evening long. Back after this.
Indy Home Experts at theindychannel.com.
A coronavirus vaccine could be just a few months away. Dr. Anthony Fauci says the vaccine is being developed by Moderna. It should be ready for its final phase of testing by midsummer. That would involve giving the vaccine to about 30,000 people between the ages of 18 and 55. They will also test its effectiveness in some elderly and people with underlying health conditions. Dr. Fauci says if those trials go well, he expects 100 million doses of the vaccine to be available by the end of the year. Better find those number 2 pencils. After all, the College Board has scrapped plans to offer an online version of the SAT exam for students to take at home. They postponed the scheduled tests in the spring due to the coronavirus and had planned to offer this online option instead. But they say now that would require 3 hours of uninterrupted high-speed internet access, and that's not a reality for all students at their homes. They plan to offer more in-person testing options in the fall.
If you're in the mood for a cool treat, how about giving frozen custard a try? Our Brad Brown takes us to a family-owned stand in Fishers that has been serving up scoops along State Road 37 long before the business boom there.
When the old custard stand opened more than 20 years ago, it was pretty much all alone on this stretch of State Road 37.
It's been very busy, more than normal when we open. Normally when we open, we're not that crazy busy. But everybody was just happy to get out. Everybody was happy to eat something different.
But as Fishers has grown up around it, the stand has been right here, serving up frozen treats to a new generation.
We've been eating frozen custard since we were kids, and that's why we built the frozen custard stand, is because we just wanted something different. Plus, all of our food is all homemade. Everything's right here. We make it all.
It's a family affair for Tiffany Leopard. Along with homemade frozen custard, her mom is back in the kitchen whipping up coney dogs, ham salad sandwiches, and more.
People come for the chicken salad and the ham salad. The ham salad is an old recipe. It's just something that we've always had.
But the custard is the star, as it has been from the start. More than 50 gallons made fresh daily, served up in sundaes, shakes, malts, and more.
Flavored Cokes. We have a lot of flavored Coke fans, so yeah, we have a lot of people that come by.
There are daily special flavors.
We normally have chocolate, vanilla, and butter pecan. Sunday is mint chocolate chip. Saturday is a strawberry. And lemon has become a phenomenon. We have it every Friday now. I don't like it, but everybody else does.
Then just about any topping combo you can think of, and a few that might surprise you.
When we first started, the girls themselves that we started with started making different things, and that's how we come up with a lot of the specialty Sundays.
Familiar faces, lots of smiles, and a taste of summer topped off with a little hot fudge.
It's just something you don't have at home. You know, everybody's been stuck at home, so they want to get out. And we have lots of seating outside, so we've had, even during the rain, we've had people out here sitting outside, just being outside and being somewhere other than home.
Working for you in Fishers, Brad Brown, RTV6.
And we're talking thunderstorms, you know that. Some of these potentially severe with damaging wind and large hail around Rockville. We come back into Hamilton County, another round for Carmel to Fishers to Geist. I'll follow these through the evening hours. We'll see you in just a few short hours at 11 o'clock tonight. Thanks for watching.